nice. All right, time for some conclusions after testing this new 2026 Honda Transalp 750 e-clutch. Finally, I get my hands on the new Honda Transalp 750 e-clutch. I'm looking forward to test this bike. I was waiting quite a bit for it. Now it's time to see how this bike behaves. I have so many questions from your side. We'll try to find all the answers today. Let's make a very short overview of the bike. You know the bike. I'm not gonna insist on all the parts, on everything on the bike, because you already know it. Just the more relevant, we're gonna start with the e-clutch position. E-clutch is positioned on the right side. Some of our members from the Facebook group already tested and crashed it on the right side. E-clutch, it's exposed for a bit. There is protection, there is aftermarket protection for the e-clutch. You will find it, for example, Garda, the brand Garda has a specific engine guard which covers the e-clutch. So I'm pretty sure that other manufacturers will come out with the e-clutch protection, because you see the position of the e-clutch on the Transalp. It's somehow outside, it overpasses the fender, so some protection I might think is necessary. We don't have foldable brake levers. We still have a standard OM bash plate. Let's check the thickness. It's I presume 3 millimeters. It's not so thin as the previous one, but it's I honestly can say it's a joke when I compare it with the Yak XP or Garda or other brands which are actually making thicker, much thicker protections. So I think this one, it's 2 millimeters, if I'm allowed to be corrected, 2 millimeters. And most of the skid plates, which are good, are over 3.54 millimeters. It's not covering the rear shock, and it's covering indeed in the front side the pipes, the oil can, oil filter side, but that's it. So not so much, you don't get too much as a standard pack, but you can always find Honda accessories if they fit, if they're fitting to you, or other aftermarket accessories. The market is full of those. Headlight, I'm gonna test it during the night very soon. Other than that, the bike is the same as you know it. New dashboard. I like the sun protection for the dashboard. I think it's a plus. Same spots for the USB charger. The bike looks more or less the same. Different decals, not much. So in terms of aesthetics, in terms of rider's position, everything is the same as you are used. Nothing changed on the rider position. I'm not gonna show you once again. Now you have the chance to buy the comfort seat. Highly recommended. The bike, it's so uncomfortable, man, with this seat. Choose the comfort seat from Honda. Think it you will make a good deal, or make the comfort seats custom made by Oficina delle Toppe. Oficina delle Toppe made made some amazing seats for my Honda Transalp. You might want to check it out. The windshield, hopefully Honda has some options for touring windshield, because this one, it's pretty poor in terms of protection. No buffeting, but here we have a plastic radiator protection. This could do just fine. You can replace it anytime if you want. As I said here, on the Showa new suspension, we have the compression settings, soft and hard with a screwdriver. From here we can adjust the rebound. It's written 10 here. You have hard and soft. For the rear, you have here we have the compression with a screwdriver. The same here you have the rebound on the bottom of the spring of the shock absorber. The rebound is over there. Other than that, everything looks the same. Everything looks more like the same as you are used on the Transalp 750. The first shock I've got after 52 kilometers. I was riding the bike yesterday a little bit in the city. Now 52 kilometers. The first shock is the fuel consumption, man. So far 3.3 liters per 100 kilometers. It's a shocking result for me. I was able to reach with my bike 3.5, 3.6, 3.7, a stable fuel consumption, but now it's just sturdy stable at 3.3 liters. This is a scooter fuel consumption. I was riding secondary roads, country roads, that's true, but still when you travel you want to maybe explore more other roads, not only riding on the highway. So 3.3 so far, the first shocking breaking news which I got. I've just tweaked the suspension settings, as you probably saw, and the bike it's even more comfortable. I'm not gonna provide you a conclusion of the suspension. I need to ride it much more. I still have hundreds of kilometers to go until the end of the day on roads, some light off roads, hopefully, and I will come back to you with a conclusion. This bike, it's standard exactly as it comes from the dealership. No other accessories mounted. It comes only with the skid plate, but that's it. You don't have any extra accessories on this bike, and it feels indeed incredibly light. Imagine that each single accessory which you mount on the bike will add some weight. You need to make the right balance. Either you remove a heavy accessory, put a light one, but if you put crash bars and other heavy accessories, expect another handling from the bike and expect that the suspension will react differently because you have a different weight on the bike added. The first stop will be at a motocross park. I need to explore it for a bit, to make some exploration in order to find some tracks for the Transalp as well. So far the bike feels incredibly light as it is, no accessories mounted. It's impressively maneuverable. E-clutch, what can I say, will be in this video will be separated topic about e-clutch. I don't have even 100 kilometers done with this e-clutch. The bike comes standard with e-clutch. There's no other option to buy it without e-clutch. You can use the clutch as before. You press it, but if you don't turn it off from the dashboard settings, it will automatically engage. You have here, you can see here with the green A from automatic clutch, E-clutch, automatic transmission. You have here, you can see here with the green A from automatic clutch, E-clutch. Regarding the E-clutch, if you're used with the normal clutch, you have the tendency to press all the time on the clutch, and you somehow need to transfer your trust, you need to transfer your confidence and trust to the E-clutch. It's not the right time to jump into conclusions after how many 60 kilometers. Yesterday I did about 20 kilometers in the city, so I don't even have 100 kilometers to provide you a conclusion. But at the end of this video I'll come in front of you with a conclusion from my side. I have so many questions from your side gathered from the Facebook group, from YouTube channel, and I will do my best to answer to all these questions today at the end of this video. Most of your questions are regarding the suspension, the new suspension from Showa, from the Transalp 750. The good thing now is that I can modify the suspension settings on the road. It's pretty easy. And why it's so easy? It's easy because I can make these adjustments only with this screwdriver provided in the toolbox. We have the compression settings on the bottom, hard and soft. You can adjust the rebound. You see here written 10. We have a soft and hard. I'm gonna adjust first the compression. You have soft and hard as well. It's on the bottom only with this basic screwdriver from the Honda toolbox. I'm gonna make it softer with 2 clicks. 1 and 2. Okay, you can feel the clicks. So you can feel the clicks. It's recommended that you make 1, maximum 2 clicks of adjustments, ride the bike, feel the bike, and then either leave it or make another modification, another suspension setting. Here on the top, I'm gonna put the rebound 1 click to soft. Maybe it's 1 turn. So I did 1 turn, I made the rebound softer. On the rear, we have the same adjustments. Here is the compression on the top. The compression, I'm gonna leave it as it is. I'm gonna work on the rebound with the 1 click. The rebound settings is located on the bottom. You can see here, soft, it's on the anti-clockwise. I'm gonna make it 1 click, 2 clicks. Okay, you don't feel actually the clicks. I'm gonna make 1 turn, and I consider that a click. Let me make 1 turn and see what happens. I like it. Suspension adjustment on the road, very simple. Let's see if it works, if we have a more comfortable bike on road. I have the 2023-2024 model version of the Transalp. I own this bike for more than 3 years. And I've compared my stock suspension with the Andreanian Öhlins premium suspension. Recently we've installed on the another Transalp, we've installed a premium YSS suspension, and now comes this new 2026 Showa full adjustable suspension for the Transalp 750. I don't want to jump into any conclusions. Most of you would like to know if you can keep the suspension or you are somehow forced to jump into aftermarket suspension, either Andreani Öhlins or YSS. By the way, for the YSS we have some offers for you, but this is not the point. The point is this suspension, the new one, good as you will like to keep it? This is the question. But to answer to this question, you need to stay until the end of this video. I've transferred my trust to e-clutch. At the first glance, it changes almost the same as a quick shifter in terms of hardness. You can adjust the softness. You can put it soft, medium, or hard. It was on medium. I find it too hard, so I put it on soft, but it was not such a huge difference from medium to soft. I need to shift more to get to know this e-clutch. I was riding with e-clutch for the 650R 1.5 years ago, or last year if I remember well. I think last year. And it was a little bit smoother than this one. This one, it's kind of tough, or it brings more resistance, maybe because of the engine. So you see here I can stop with the 3rd gear, and easily I can switch back with the 1st gear. Automatic signal light cancellation. Now it works even better. It's faster. If for the previous model you need to wait, I mean, couple of seconds, now after you turn and go straight in the line, after a few seconds, I think 2 seconds, maximum 3 seconds, it's automatically it's cancelling the signal lights, which is very good. I can say it's an improvement here. As a first impression, it's a bit disappointed to see that this standard package, the Honda comes in this standard package with absolutely almost nothing on it as accessory. Only the bash plate, the skid plate, it's there. That's a good thing, but other than that, it's just bold, if you know what I mean. When I compared with, for example, Suzuki V-Strom, D800, or I'm not gonna mention the Chinese bikes, which are, let's say, coming with almost full accessories from the factory, so you don't have to spend so much money on accessories. But yeah, this is the reality. This bike is standard, but this standard bike offers the full experience, at least on road. It's very, very light. It takes the turns with ease. It has an amazing fuel consumption. Some of you may like these standard bikes with no other accessories, and some of you would like to fill them up with plenty of accessories. It's a matter of preferences. Since a couple of years they've changed these controls from the handlebar. I personally like the previous ones. They were a little bit bigger. Now if you have thicker gloves or maybe autumn winter gloves, I'm not saying it's impossible to work with them. You can still work with them, okay? I personally love the previous ones. These ones are quite small. They indeed offer a minimalistic somehow design of this handlebar front side. The dashboard as well, I prefer the previous one. This one, it looks bigger as a space, but it's actually the visibility which you get, it's on the smaller portion, on a smaller section. By the way, I have a dashboard review of this motorcycle on the channel. You might want to check it out. At least on this type of surface, it's a bit better now after the suspension adjustment. A bit better than before. This road is the perfect one to just feel a little bit the bike after these adjustments. Okay, we would like to cancel the rear ABS. How we do this? We just click yes here from the menu, user 1. We need to go in the menu all the time and make these adjustments. The same for the traction control. Again in the settings, and turn the traction control off is displayed here. The rear ABS is displayed on the right bottom, and the traction control there. Yeah, this is a little bit frustrating. Cuminte. So you were asking about the e-clutch on the uphill. We are on a small uphill, and you can see that the bike is stopped. We are in the second gear, and we can easily move forward. It helps even. The e-clutch helps. We can also start with the second gear, just to have a slowly start, not you know, smashed one. Yeah, the suspension is quite good on this easy road. Ah, okay. Whoa. What a nice playground here. I need to come here with my off-road tires maybe. And look at these uphills, man. They're crazy. Check out that one. Wow. Looks like uphills from Romaniacs. Not all of them, but nice playground. Yeah, the good thing is that you don't need to worry about the clutch anymore. You can even, what's nice is even with the first gear engaged, you can put it on the rear, you can push it. That's incredible actually. Oh, nice. Yeah, man, it's a nice playground here. Yeah, the suspension, it's quite decent for this very light surface and very low speed. I don't know if you push it a bit, maybe. Off-road, I think the E-clutch is helping because the bike will not stall. First, and second, you have an easy, an easy ride at the end. Wow, nice, man, nice. Okay, nice. Can go in the forest. So, no clutch, I don't press the clutch and I'm going backwards. Isn't it nice? The same happens most likely when you drop the bike. It's I think it's safer if you like with the E-clutch. When you drop the bike and you have the first gear, second gear, the bike will not stall, will not stop. But in the same time the wheel will not spin. The E-clutch is helping on these small maneuvers. You don't need to, you can grab your hands to the bike and easily, make some turns, some basic stuff. It helps. The standard tires, which this bike comes from the factory, Dunlop Trail Max Mixture. Now the e-clutch is not engaged, it's in the first gear. The bike was in the first gear parked. Now I put it on neutral and you can see instantly the e-clutch activated. We start the bike first gear without using our hands. And traction control and ABS, let's see, they stay? No, unfortunately nothing stays. Need to go back in the menu. Now it's a little bit frustrating, but what can you do? From here we can turn off the ABS. Yes, and from the main menu, from here we need to go to riding mode. Press right, and then on traction control user mode we deactivate it. So now maybe it's faster now, just for a bit, but I don't like it. I need to go all the time in the settings. That's why on my bike I'm using an off-road dongle. I will place a link in the description. Maybe they are making the off-road dongle for this version as well. The suspension, I will dare to say now that it's better than the previous generation. There's no doubt about this. Much better than the suspension from 2023-2025 model version. It's a step forward. But traction control stayed. So traction control stayed. ABS came back. So maybe you need to wait for the traction control a bit more. Let's see how much we need to wait until the traction control gets back. Okay, stop the bike. Maybe I took off the key from the ignition. Let's see now. Okay. Okay, when you took off the key, it's even. And you can see clearly on the dashboard 25 Celsius. So the dashboard is displaying the outside temperature. You are happy now. I know it's an important data, the outside temperature, especially on winter times, on winter temperatures. I think it's very important for just to know what grip to expect from your tires. I don't see the coolant temperature. So they took off the coolant temperature and they put this. I don't think so. Maybe we will find it in the settings. I noticed that when we have a bit of higher speed, the e-clutch is working way much better. I mean, when you from 4000 RPMs, it's working way more flawless, if you know what I mean. Under 4000 RPMs, there's no big difference when you compare with the quick shifter. Even quick shifter looks a bit smoother, but when you push it over 4000, 5000, the same happens for upshifting and downshifting, the same. You feel it from 4,500, from 4,500, even 5,000. So yeah, it is what it is. You have to test it for yourself. So if you want more torque, you need to pass 4,000, 4,500 RPMs. That's why the UpMap, it's working, and the UpMap has so much success because it brings a little bit more torque on the lower RPM range, starting from 3,500 or at least under 4000 RPMs. I've made plenty of videos regarding UpMap. You can check out the video description as well. This bike exceeds indeed on the road. It's so easy to steer. Despite the 21-inch front wheel, it's so easy to steer. It has plenty of power, more than you'll need actually. The engine has no vibrations as you claim, or some of you claimed, for this 2026 model version. For this 2026 model version, I don't seem to feel too much vibrations. Maybe because of this rubber from the foot pegs, who knows. This engine is designed somehow to have the same feeling as a V-twin engine from the previous models, but it tries to be, at least from the sound and from the feeling, but we cannot compare the vibrations from a V-twin engine with this one. It's nothing. The exhaust has a full sound. It's a pretty decent sound for a stock exhaust on a motorcycle. But for example, when you try the HP course, for example, then you you can say you have a motorcycle. Picking the right bike for you, it's always a challenge. You need to spend a lot of time analyzing. You need to figure it out, what fits you better, what type of machine do you want. The brakes are very good in combination with the engine braking. And why not the suspension stiffness? It helps on the road. Regarding the e-clutch, what can I say? It's a matter of choice. Either you choose one bike which you can ride in the city, and e-clutch will help you in the city, will help you quite a bit off-road, will prevent your bike from stalling uphill, will help you a bit on some specific situations. I don't know if this bike is designed to be ridden in the city. Most likely you buy such a bike to ride on motorcycle touring, on road, some light off-roads, but you're definitely not buying this bike for city riding. But you want a bike that can be ridden easily in the city, so you don't have to worry about the clutch. But let's wait until the end of this video, because I put everything together as a conclusion, and at the end you are the one that it's giving the answers. The engine sound, it's more refined. This is what I hear right now. I don't know if it has something to do with the e-clutch or with new technology or with what Honda did, but the engine sounds smoother, sounds so nice. The sound, it's perfect sound. Even the idle, it's more stable. there's so much responsiveness. This is the word, responsiveness of the engine, of the throttle. It's indeed they modified this throttle response. I think it's also improved. The bike in general, it's a little bit refined, but this happens each maybe 2 or 3 years. Motorcycles are running smoother in general. It's a very pleasant sound of the bike. If you're considering riding on long motorcycle trips, you don't get exhausted by a loud bike in general. This is a perfect touring bike. It's perfect because you have an amazing fuel consumption. You can drop it to 3.3, 3.4 liters per 100 kilometers. You have a very decent suspension, considering that now it's fully adjustable. You can ride it stock as it is, but if you're considering a long motorcycle travel, then you need to somehow have some basic accessories. A windshield which will protect you better from the rain, from the wind. This one, it's a standard, but Honda has a touring windshield as well available. At least this is what I know. The seat, what can I say? Not so comfortable, man. It's still the same old wooden seat. The good news is that Honda has a comfort seat as well as an option. You might want to consider having that one. We have some rain, so we can test the standard tires. Actually, I know these tires. I have them for 7,000 kilometers on my bike. They're pretty decent on the asphalt and wet roads. Even on some light off roads, they are pretty decent. I remember my first trip, long trip, just after I purchased the bike. 18 Celsius, 17 Celsius at the dashboard, and I'm expecting the temperature to drop because now we're climbing at 2,000 meters. Seems like autumn is coming a little bit too soon, if I might say so. It's not even the end of August. The bike climbs effortlessly. I was riding a sport mode, and on the off-roads I just switched to user mode with a little bit less power. But on sport mode I find the best balance between power, traction, throttle response. After you're coming from a motorcycle with so many accessories that are somehow making the motorcycle touring a bit more comfortable, like heated grips, hand guards, a comfortable seat, a better foot pegs for better ergonomics. When you're coming and you see when you don't have those accessories, then you miss them, you know. But man, heated grips are definitely a must. We are in the middle of summer, traveling 17 Celsius, and we are expecting less. So heated grips, I think they do a very good job on keeping your hands as warm as possible. And you miss those accessories, you miss them when you don't have them. $1,600 meters. It's time to climb a little bit more to 2,000. then establish a location for the conclusions. What a spectacular view. 13 Celsius. I remember coming here 6 years ago with my Honda NC750X. Everything was white except the middle of the road. It was quite a nice ride. 6 years later, with the 2026 Honda Transalp 750, e-clutch technology is evolving. Honda Transalp is evolving, transforming. Actually, there are not huge modifications made to this bike. The engines is more or less the same. The frame is the same. Most of the parts are at their place, at their initial place, if you know what I mean. It's a different bike now with the e-clutch and the new adjustable suspension. I think these are the most important features. Okay, we have the headlight, the dashboard, but more or less the bike is the same. But somehow this adjustable suspension and e-clutch makes the package a little bit more attractive. Back on the bike after a short break. I was just thinking, you know, this bike comes as standard, and yeah, you can choose either to ride it as it is or improve it with some accessories. E-clutch position, we're gonna discuss about this right away. Just wait a few moments, we're getting to the end of the video, then we're gonna jump into conclusions. I was just looking at the bike. More or less it's the same bike in terms of frame and in terms of parts, only the headlight is different than mine, the dashboard, the commands, which are smaller, so I prefer the old ones anyway. The rest, rear rack, seat, exhaust, tires, frame, everything, engine, more or less tweaked to be Euro 5 plus compliant. E-clutch, adjustable forks, that's true, adjustable suspension. Other than that, it's more or less the same bike, more or less the same. Even though you're stopping the bike on the first gear with e-clutch activated, you still need to put it back on neutral to start the bike, or just press the clutch. Automatically you see the e-clutch is activating. Let me get to your question. Someone asked if you can engage the clutch no matter the speed, no matter the RPMs, no matter if you twist too much of the throttle or you are under acceleration. How easy can you engage the e-clutch? The question is easier indeed than the quick shifter. For example, I'm not accelerating, I don't have enough RPMs, I can get the bike in 6th gear, for example, and easily I can get it back to the 1st gear. So no matter where you are on this RPM range, you can engage the clutch and you can gear shift with no problem, no matter the RPMs which you have, no matter if you're accelerating, decelerating, or you're not even using the acceleration. More than that, if we are in an inappropriate gear, for example, we are on a 5th gear, the display recommends us politely to go to downshift. The same when we are in the 4th gear, it recommends going in the 2nd gear. So yeah, you can do basically anything with this e-clutch in terms of gear shifting. Is not so limited as it is the quick shifter. I find the refinement, it's when you change the gears at higher RPMs. I feel that the e-clutch is working smoothless after 4,500 RPMs, when the range is better, or the e-clutch is shifting better at higher RPMs, in my experience, what I've experienced today. It's recommended that you gear shift at the appropriate RPM. For example, we are in a 4th gear. If we switch at 4,000 RPMs, the gear shifting is done smoothless, much better, you know. So when you downshift, it's like the quick shifter. I think it's better to downshift at 3,500, 3,000 RPMs, because it's a little bit, you're not putting too much pressure on the engine, on the gearbox. The e-clutch is doing its job. It protects the engine. No, I'm pretty sure about it, but I think it's better to be safe than sorry. The engine brake is pretty decent. It's slowing down the bike on this type of sections. The sound when you gear shift with the e-clutch, it's more or less the same as you shift with the quick shifter. When it's not a big difference. I mean, you can hear it. If this is your question, you can hear the gear shifting. But the sound, the intensity of the sound depends a lot on your RPMs, and depends a lot on your acceleration, on many parameters. But in general, it's more or less the same shifting sound. It's nothing changed. The suspension kept the bike on the road. It was pretty stable, although the rear rebound, it's too fast. I need to decrease it for 1 click. Other than that, it kept the bike's balance and it kept its handling. Let's not forget the bike has no accessories on it, no extra weight added. So it feels pretty light, and there is not so much challenge for the suspension with this very light setup. But it did its job. Now we have another section where I would like to test it. It's definitely an improvement. It's definitely an improvement from 2023 up to 2025 model version. This is definitely a plus on the suspension. I'm interested to test this gravel mode because yeah, usually when you ride with this bike, you're not thinking about hard off-road, at least not with this standard setup, not with these tires. You're thinking about a light off-road, and most likely you don't want to deactivate all this traction control, ABS. I'm curious to see how gravel mode it's handling this type of roads. I'm curious to see if gravel mode is actually usable on the gravel. Let's wait for the section. For example, here. Oh, nice. Yeah, it's an improvement. It's refreshing to have such a standard suspension finally on the Transalp. Transalp was deserving a standard, decent suspension. Way much better than before, man. Way much better than before. You should try all the riding modes. I think they offer each single of them offers a different experience in terms of throttle response, and yeah, I think it's better to try all of them. Maybe one riding mode fits you better than another one. For example, I like this gravel on the asphalt. Let's see on the gravel how it is. Gravel mode handling perfectly. Gravel. Not bad at all, man. I can sit on the bike and still control the bike. Have stability. Nice, nice. Even the tires are doing a good job. I'm even able to sit on the bike actually and control the bike pretty good on this light section. E-clutch does its best in the city traffic. This is the reality. I was riding a little bit yesterday in the city, and today I'm planning more city riding. I find appropriate at low speeds to leave it in the second gear, just to have a very slow start or a very nimble acceleration For example, I prefer here in the city. You can ride it in the rain mode or a standard. I leave it on standard and I don't need to worry. I'm riding it just like a scooter. Second gear, normal riding. I don't put pressure. It doesn't pushes me too much when I accelerate. If I stop, no problem. It's quite okay and I can slowly get back on the track, if you know what I mean. I'm happy with the e-clutch combo in the city riding. I think it's comes like a glove for someone who's using the bike in the city. Even in the third gear you can ride it but I think the second gear is the best compromise for the city traffic. Maybe not all the time you can overpass cars, and then when the traffic gets lighter you can use a third gear. It's a matter of let's say calculation. If you would like to have one bike to ride it in the city, outside the city, one bike that can do all, this was kind of the Honda NC750X. This bike, I see it as a traveling machine, as a touring bike, as a bike which offers you comfort on a long trip, incredible fuel efficiency, and also, you know, the package, the power, electronics, everything as a package makes this machine more like a touring machine, like a traveling tool. A very good motorcycle for traveling, for touring. But if you still would like to use it for commuting in the city and also for traveling, it can do this, but you're gonna have at the end higher cost of city exploitment. I did everything. I was using my NC750X in the city. I saw the costs using one bike for everything. You need to change it faster when you ride it in the city, starting from the brake pads, drive chain kit, everything getting used faster. You can feel this advantage of the e-clutch in the city. That's 100%. It helps you really focusing on the ride in the city. If you ask me, the dangers are way more dangerous in the city riding than the touring. Quite dangerous to ride in the city with a motorcycle nowadays. We are lucky that we are in the holiday period, but usually the traffic is crazy and people, they don't consider two-wheel riders. And second gear, it's perfect for filtering at a decent pace. And I can stop here at the light and then I can go perfectly. So second gear, I like. You get a lot of advantage because you're skipping the one gear shifting. If you're still wondering if you can struggle through the cars, yes you can. The handlebar position is quite high. Nothing actually happened to the bike's ergonomics, to the bike's looks. So it's the same bike more or less with the extra electronics, e-clutch, new light, new mapping, new dashboard, new commands, and most important, new suspension. The e-clutch is very useful when you brake. The brakes are more efficient now because you don't have to think to press the clutch lever, and you can brake much more efficient. For example, you brake and then you go. You don't need to think, oh man, I need to press the clutch in order to prevent the bike from stalling. You stop and that's it, and then the braking, it's more efficient. It's recommended that you brake with the gear engaged to increase the braking efficiency, but now you don't need to think about pressing the clutch lever. As I said, the second gear is the best for filtering slowly. and it helps on reducing the fatigue actually. The traffic is crazy even though it's holiday period. Some areas are crowded than others. Either you choose to stay with hours in the traffic or you choose to filter. It's not the safest mode, the safest way, but yeah, sometimes you have to do it. The best thing about e-clutch is that it doesn't create you problems, so it doesn't bother you, you know, because lately some of the accessories, the electronics are creating problems in general. E-clutch doesn't create you a problem, it actually helps you. More than it helps you, it doesn't block your riding, it doesn't obstruct your riding. We had 12 Celsius on top of the mountain, and here in the city you can check on the dashboard with the new outside temperature indicator, 36 Celsius, man, it's a lot. If you would like to check more about my bike, what accessories I've mounted on my Honda Transalp 750, you can check the videos on the Ideal Bike YouTube channel. This is the spot for the conclusions. The same spot I found for other reviews, the secret place. This is the Transalp 750 e-clutch. Let's speak more about it. Alright, time for some conclusions after testing this new 2026 Honda Transalp 750 e-clutch. First, I will start with your questions. Just a moment, because I have everything written. First question, the suspension now is fully adjustable. Please check how does it feel and if springs could be the same or were upgraded as well. For all past models since 2023, it said it's undersprung. So it's the springs are too soft. For 2025, some people complain of stiffness. So throttle smoothness or twitchy at low speed in first gear, engine vibration at cruising speed, nimbleness, and most of all, fun factor. Actually, this is the first question, but it's covering quite a lot of topics. First of all, let's start with what everybody is actually requesting, is the suspension. Well, for 2023-2024, since Honda relaunched the Transalp 750, the stock suspension was quite disappointing in terms of stiffness. It was too soft. It didn't have any adjustment. So most of the people, including myself, they were disappointed about the suspension of the first generation of Transalp 750. Starting from 2025, Honda somehow revised a little bit the suspension in terms of compression and rebound, but still the suspension was not adjustable. For 2026, starting with the Transalp 750 e-clutch, we have a fully adjustable suspension. Well, after riding 60-80 kilometers, I made the first adjustments on the bike. I started with a little bit of compression on the front and rebound on the front and rear. The rear compression just left it as it was. If I compare it with the 2023-2024 model version, now the suspension from the 2026, it's at different level when we compare with 2024-2025 model version. Let's put it like this. If we compare this suspension with the one from 2023 2024 model version, the suspension which I've tested myself, we can say that this suspension is at another level. First, because it's adjustable, and second, because the springs, yes indeed, they are harder, they are not so soft as it was on the previous version. Now the suspension is adjustable, and indeed after testing it on road and on very light off-roads, I can say that yes, it's an improvement, and you can feel the improvement on stability of the bike and on the how the feedback you get on the handlebar and feedback in general. I will try to be as objective as possible. I'm not a professional in terms of suspension. What I can test or what I can say, I say from my own experience. I had the first generation of suspension, then I switched to Öhlins and Andreani, then I tested the YSS suspension on the Transalp as well. Now I get back from the YSS and Andreani back to this upgraded suspension from the Transalp 2026, fully adjustable. I can say it's better, definitely better than the first suspension from the Transalp 2023-2024, but it's far from the ones which you can upgrade on your bike. Now let's put it like this. When you buy the bike, you can ride it and enjoy it as it is. Now you can play with the suspension, you can find your own comfort zone in terms of suspension adjustment. This suspension, it's a very good starting point. If you want more from the bike, if you want to transform your bike into an off-road machine, or if you are carrying heavy luggage, if you are carrying a passenger with luggage, if you have a specific weight, this you need to find out by yourself. There is not a magic solution for this suspension to fit everyone. Usually it's a good starting point. It's a very good thing that Honda actually make and upgraded this suspension. If I had the chance to buy this bike for the first time, I would be thrilled to have adjustable suspension on this bike, e-clutch as well. But yeah, so maybe this can answer your question. I tried on my review to point out on the road and off-road some of the suspension behavior. I can say yes, it's an improvement. I wasn't expecting such an improvement from the first generation. It's actually a big improvement if we compare with the first one. I'm actually happy to find out that this suspension takes over quite a lot, and at different speeds, I can say it's quite okay. I was not pushing it too much due to its tires, and of course this you have to keep in mind, this is a dealership motorcycle. Everything which happens on the bike, I have to pay it. So I was somehow a bit restricted in terms of off-road testing. Other than that, I can say yes, an improvement. If you want a performance suspension, you should upgrade it to a performance suspension. This is a good one. Keep it, ride it, learn how to set it up perfectly for your weight and your riding gear, and then you will be happy. If you want more, you can upgrade it anytime. About the throttle smoothness or twitchy at low speed in first gear, engine vibration at cruising speed. So let's take it step by step. Throttle smoothness, well, depending on the riding mode. Of course, I was riding sport mode, and yes, the throttle, it's a bit harsh on the first gear at low speeds. Yes, because I was in a sport mode. But if you're choosing gravel mode, if you're choosing rain mode, or you can personalize your user mode with less power, then the throttle response is according to the power you select. So I don't think it's a problem. I really like the gravel mode. I think it's a very good balance when I toggle between all the modes. I find it quite nice to ride it on road and off road. So try gravel mode if you are riding off road. Try to deactivate the ABS and traction control. Use the rain mode, test everything, but I found that the throttle response, you can set it up by yourself, choose it for off-road, choose less power, and then you can be happy with the throttle response. Engine vibrations, here I think they improved. They kind of, I felt the engine running very smooth. Could be the e-clutch, could be the standard exhaust, could be the riding mode, I don't know, could be the quality of the gasoline, who knows, but the engine runs excellent, excellent, excellent. I can say I'm rediscovering actually my bike. This is a refined Honda Transalp, no doubt about it. It's a refined 2026 Honda Transalp 750 in terms of engine ECU map, in terms of clutch, e-clutch. So yes, the engine runs pretty smooth. I haven't felt so much vibrations because I'm using the foot pegs with the rubber. Maybe they absorb more vibrations. I don't know. I don't mind vibrations on a motorcycle. More because yeah, it's a motorcycle at the end. But so to answer to this question shortly, I haven't felt vibrations which are disturbing on this bike. I think it runs pretty smooth, pretty nice, and I'm kind of happy of the throttle response and of the bike in general on road. Nimbleness, yes, because the bike it's fitted for even for beginners. It's you can toggle, as I said before, with the riding modes. So if you want a nimble bike, then you can switch to a nimble user setting. If you want a little bit more aggressive bike, you can ride sport mode, full power, and enjoy the bike. So you choose what type of bike you have, because in 2026 each bike can be adapted or can be personalized according to its rider. So you can make your bike and you can ride as you wish. The bike delivers you the possibility to toggle between the user modes, and you can have a nimble bike if you want until 4,500 RPMs, because as I said in the video, the torque, and you feel the torque at a bit over 4,500 RPMs. If you would like to have a low RPM torque or a low range power, low range torque, then you need to maybe try our UpMap products, which you will find in the video description. Another question: limits of e-clutch when riding off-road. How hard off-road you could ride with e-clutch? You could ride with e-clutch whatever off-road you are skilled to ride. If you have skills, if you know how to ride off-road, you can e-clutch will not limit you at any point. In the video you saw that I stopped off-road, or doesn't matter if it's off-road or not, I stopped in a uphill. You can ride off-road. I think off-road e-clutch can help you in some situations. Uphill, maybe when you turn the bike, maybe when it prevents the bike from stalling. Even when you fall with the bike, the rear wheel doesn't spin. So somehow you can say that e-clutch is helping off-road. Yes, you can say like that. It saves you some small moments. Somehow it does some things for you in terms of the clutch lever. But other than that, you can ride off-road. Your skill is your limit. E-clutch will not block your off-road riding skill. Another question, I think I've answered to this question on my ride. I'm interested in how the e-clutch works if you're trying to shift gears not while accelerating or braking, but while driving without accelerating or under light acceleration. Okay, let me answer to your question directly on the road. Yes, as you said, the main drawback of the quick shifter is that it only works smoothly during acceleration and engine braking. Otherwise, you get a shock. It can't work properly at a constant speed. Can the e-clutch do this? So can the e-clutch work smoothly at any gear, at any RPM? Yes and no, I will answer. It's not so smooth as you might think. You will feel the gear shifting. This is what I said in the video. You will feel the gear shifting. You will feel when you're shifting gears, when you engage the clutch. You can set it up from hard to soft, medium if you like, but the e-clutch somehow is not invisible in terms of, or it's not unhearable. You will hear it, you will notice. It's the smoothness of shifting gears with e-clutch depends on your, exactly, on your RPMs. It's better, way much better than quick shifter. Is not so limitative as quick shifter is, as you said, because you need to have a higher RPM when you use the quick shifter. You need to have maybe a lower RPM when you downshift. E-clutch will not have these limitations as the quick shifter has, but is not so unhearable. So it's better than quick shifter, but you will sense it, you know. But you will find the best spots. You will, as much as you ride with the bike with e-clutch, you will feel you will know it, and you will know when it's the perfect spot, the sweet spot for upshifting, for downshifting. I was able to put it in the 6th gear, riding with 20 kilometers per hour. So you can imagine it has no limitations in terms of gear shifting. But in the same time, the smoothness, if you're speaking specifically about it, it changes according to the RPMs and according to your speed. Now, questions regarding e-clutch. Someone says e-clutch is never really off. It's just it's still just simulating being a real clutch, but no matter what, it's always e-clutch operating. Just pretend to be a real clutch. Clutch lever response is far less than standard manual. Again, it's short of electronic fakery according to them and feels odd. Someone said, but I'm gonna answer. Clutch control with e-clutch disabled is nowhere near as good as manual clutch in terms of balancing bike with clutch control, for instance. Test this, please. I haven't seen a significant test of e-clutch. Okay, so what you said, that e-clutch is never really off, this I cannot say, because you can turn it off from the settings. You can turn it off, you can use the bike without e-clutch. Indeed, e-clutch is automatically activating after a while. So for example, as I said, you're riding with e-clutch, you operate it manually, but when you restart your bike, e-clutch will be engaged automatically if you are in neutral, or if you ride the bike, let's say, for a while. Shortly after a while, it's engaging. So you can turn it off. I think you can turn it off completely. We're in the menu. Very simple. On this menu here, on the right side, the wheels, you go right, then function, Honda e-clutch, and here are your options. You can deactivate it. You can see with green it's activated. Then you can deactivate it and it's off. So I've deactivated, and even though I'm in neutral, I can use the clutch whatever I want. So it does not activate it, it will not be activated unless you restart your bike. So if I want to make a ride, normally I can ride it without e-clutch, you know? And then, for example, I'm stopping the bike, okay, take the key out, put it back. I heard the sound of the e-clutch. The e-clutch is automatically activated when you restart your bike, okay? So this is how it works, and this is how I found out it works. Of course, could be many other possibilities to turn off completely the e-clutch, but why would you do that? You know, e-clutch, it's saving you money. You don't have to buy a quick shifter, you know. So you have e-clutch, you have 2-in-1, you have a high performance, the most advanced quick shifter which you can have is this e-clutch. So now it's activated automatically, as I said, when you re-engage, restart your bike. You said about balancing the bike with the e-clutch. Yes, indeed. Here you are right, because you can't balance the bike. You can balance the bike with e-clutch if you choose, let's say, less power riding mode. With the minimum power riding mode, you can balance it, but you don't have this, you will not have this refinement as you control the clutch by yourself off-road. You mean, let's say you are off-road, you want to ride as slow as possible maybe, and you would like to control the throttle response with the clutch classically. Okay, you have the e-clutch, it's smooth, you know, it's smooth at very low speeds. I didn't felt that was pushing me, you know, so it's okay. It's not as smooth as manual control of the clutch at very low speeds, but it does its job. What I found useful is using the second gear off-road with e-clutch, because usually off-road you're riding second, third gear, so it controls much better. Okay, it doesn't control better the first gear, maybe off-road, but it controls way much better the second and the third gear, which you are using normally off-road. So I would love to have e-clutch for off-road riding using second and third gear, which gives me perfect momentum for throttle twist and throttle response, and somehow it uses the clutch nicer for the second and the third gear. I was shifting gears with the normal clutch. I haven't felt too many differences of sound, of feeling when I compare with e-clutch. I have more like a feeling of a quick shifter, which is indeed advanced, but has not so many limitations. Another question: if you park the bike in first gear, for example, on a hill, will the gear be engaged, or would the e-clutch automatically engage the clutch as the bike is stationary? I've already parked the bike on a hill. It will stay on the first gear. If you stop the bike, it will stay on a first gear. It will not go on neutral automatically. The e-clutch doesn't doesn't put neutral automatically on the bike. So if you leave the bike parked in the first gear, it will stay in the first gear with the e-clutch activated. When you start the bike, you need to put it on neutral or either press the clutch lever. After a second, e-clutch, it's engaged. After a few seconds, you start the bike, and then the e-clutch will be engaged after a couple of seconds. So yeah, you can park the bike on a hill. And a nice feature which I've demonstrated on this video is that off-road on an uphill, when you are with e-clutch on the first gear, you can push your bike on the back. So you can move your bike backwards with the e-clutch activated, and in the first gear you don't need to press the clutch. I found this pretty interesting. I was not expecting this to happen. So I was thinking, man, I need to put it on neutral, or maybe I can press I need to press the clutch lever, but no, I haven't pressed the clutch lever, and I was able to move with the bike backwards with the first gear on without touching the clutch lever. This helps a lot off-road, because maybe you want to go faster forward and you have always this possibility, you only use the throttle for accelerating or leave the bike go downhill. So it's yeah, off-road I've already found 3 or 4 situations where the e-clutch helps indeed. So it's not just a myth that e-clutch is helping off-road. Someone is asking how many miles you get on road from a full tank to empty. I had the best fuel consumption today of 3.3 liters per 100 kilometers. I will list in mileage. So 3.3 liters per 100 kilometers. This was my lowest fuel consumption, which I found it incredibly good, because on my bike I could not get less than 3.6, 3.7. I was riding my friend's Transalp with YSS suspension. I get 3.5, 3.6, 3.4. He told me that he get even 3.3. But with this bike, I could easily get 3.3% liters, easily. At 60 kilometers, after 60 kilometers, 3.3. At a normal ride through villages, countryside. So if you do the math, you could ride more than 500 kilometers with one tank. If you're riding, let's say, slow, you're riding on countryside, you can make 500 kilometers with a tank. But in real life scenarios, this could be like a utopic number. So let's say you can make 3.5, 3.6, let's put 3.5 if you're riding, touring 80-85 kilometers per hour, you can get 485 kilometers. But let's say real life scenarios, you can count on 400 kilometers with one tank until you get to the next petrol station. So 400, maybe 450 kilometers if you push the limits. But I will definitely count on 400 kilometers range, definitely, with this Transalp 750. If we put, let's say, 4%, you still get 425 kilometers. The reserve, I think, has 2.5, maximum 3 liters. You get a reserve, so you can still get 50 to 80 kilometers range after you get on the reserve. So still it's a good mileage. It's a good mileage, and it's a extraordinary thing to ride with this bike and not worry so much about refilling each 300 kilometers or each 270 kilometers. Another question is concerning the suspension. Most important for me, is the suspension actually capable off-road now, or do we still need to go aftermarket? With the new fully adjustable suspension, have they finally fitted something proper, or is still a bit Mickey Mouse once you leave the tarmac? Mickey Mouse, yes, I like Mickey Mouse. No, it's not Mickey Mouse suspension. It's a good suspension. It's a good standard suspension for this bike. They finally fitted a decent, this is the word, a decent suspension. It's not exceeding. As I said before, it's a good starting point, but this is not a suspension, a professional suspension which you can do whatever you want off-road, or you can tweak it, or you can have, let's say, a better off-road experience. You can handle it, definitely, but this is not an Öhlins or Andreani suspension. This is not even an YSS suspension. This is a good standard suspension, better than before, definitely better, 100%. It's better than before, but this is not a top suspension. So I hope you understand what I say. I hope you understand my message. Another question, does e-clutch work shifting down only when speed is low and gear indicator shows next gear, or it will work whenever you shift down? It will work whenever you shift down. You have an indicator for downshifting when the system or where the bike tells you that you need to downshift. It shows you when you are underpowered for a specific gear. So you will find out when you need to downshift, but it doesn't indicate. You can set up the upshifting point. This you can do and it will be displayed on the dashboard, but you cannot, you don't need to have a specific speed to use the e-clutch. So you can shift down whatever you want. You don't need to shift down when the indicator shows you. So it doesn't restrict your downshifting. I think this is the answer to your question. Your downshifting will not be restricted. Another request, test low speed maneuvering without touching the clutch. I still find it safer to use the clutch on slow speed maneuvering. This is a good point. Thank you for coming up. Before I will answer to your question, I just want to say, only from safety reasons perspective, I had a DCT gearbox. When you engage the first gear on a DCT gearbox and accidentally, let's say accidentally, you you accelerate by mistake, something happens, I don't know, you get unbalanced, maybe you get an obstacle, you get scared, you are tired, and you somehow twist the throttle by mistake on a DCT gearbox, you don't have any emergency lever, you don't have any emergency button. Maybe it's difficult to stop the bike once you accelerate, so you don't have any emergency maneuver to stop the DCT while you somehow accelerate by accident. Now, keep in mind that, and let's get to the e-clutch. When you are in the first gear and you accelerate with the e-clutch by mistake, the same as you do with the DCT, let's say, you have the clutch. You still have the clutch as a safety measure, as a protection safety measure in order to stop the bike. So you grab your bike, you grab your hand into the acceleration by mistake, but you still have the clutch. You can press the clutch and the bike stops, doesn't accelerate, it doesn't throw you in the river. But what if here, let's say here, with the DCT, you get scared as a beginner, could be, and you twist the acceleration and you get your bike in the river by mistake. It did happen. Imagine you are with a scooter, and at a scooter you don't have any possibility to engage a clutch, so you can't stop the scooter if you're accidentally throwing your hand into the acceleration. But with e-clutch you still have the clutch. I think it's important that Honda kept the clutch as I think it was one of these reasons. I think this was one of the reasons Honda kept this. I suppose, I don't know, but I just suppose that keeping still the manual clutch helps on preventing this type of accidents. Thank you for the question. Another topic, suspension. How does clutch feel for normal use? OM skid guard. Is the new electronics like ambient temperature, has turning off traction control and ABS have been simplified? I'm sorry to disappoint you, but getting the ABS and traction control off still need to get into the menu all the time. Traction control still stays, but not for much. If you leave your bike for more minutes, it will automatically engage. Yeah, so Honda, for safety reasons, you will still need to go in the menu all the time to deactivate the ABS and traction control. It is what it is. This happened. You have an ambient temperature displayed on the dashboard as shown. We now have, let's say, outside, let me see, 22 Celsius outside. We have a minimum of 12 Celsius today, but now we have 22 Celsius. So yes, the temperature, the outside temperature is displayed. I could not find the engine temperature, the cooling temperature, I could not find it. Maybe I will research on the menu, but the external temperature, the outside temperature, finally it's on the dashboard. I strongly appreciate your effort to spend the time watching this video. Thank you very much. Honestly, thank you. Thank you very much for watching, and see you next time.